The main reason we're doing this is because we don't want this coneflower to keep competing with the yarrow. We want this coneflower to be really, really healthy. And to do that, we got to lower the competition level. Hey there, Sean and Allison here. We are out in our garden. Everything's looking really great right now this spring. Our tulips are in bloom. The daffodils are in full force. Everything's looking really healthy, including one of our coneflowers, but it needs a little TLC, so we're going to talk to you about coneflower care today.
Yeah, today we're attacking this Cheyenne Spirit in this pot here. We'll show you in just a second. But before we get to that, if you guys haven't checked out our previous video, we planted a whole bunch of gladiolus bulbs or corms into a container, and maybe that'll help you this spring get your bulbs planted too.
So with that, let's get to our coneflower care.
Okay, so today's project, like Sean mentioned, is attacking this pot. Can you guys even see the coneflower in here? See if you can find it.
I see it. It's right there in the center.
It's covered. You guys, okay. So what happened is we have this beautiful Cheyenne Spirit in here that has been growing for, is it 4 years now?
I think so,
Is this the 4th year?
It's the 4th year.
Now, we noticed last year that we needed to refresh the soil, and we kind of put that project off until now. So, and then the other thing we did is we added some yarrow that came from my mom's yard, and we're not sure if it's native or not. She can't remember either if it came from a different pot or whatnot. So we added a couple little yarrow plants in here just 1 year ago. They have completely taken over.
They have. You can barely see the coneflower in here, really.
I mean, as yarrow does, right? Yarrow will take over.
Well, it spreads. It's a spreader.
The thing is, we didn't think it would take over and spread this fast.
Nope.
So our plan today for coneflower care, we're going to take care of 3 things. 1, we need to take all the plants out of this pot. I mean, everything's coming out, and we need to check and kind of look at the health of the plant or the coneflower. 2 is we need to take all the yarrow out and separate it and put it somewhere else. And then 3, we need to refresh the soil and replant this coneflower.
Yep.
Is that everything, I think?
Yep, that is. And then when we're refreshing this, you can see in here, well, maybe you can't, but there's a really big gap between the soil level and then up here. The soil has actually settled in here, and we need to raise that back up, and that means we'll be raising up the coneflower further up, so it'll be closer to the rim, and it'll get more sun, and it'll just look better. It'll look like a finished pot. It'll look like it should. So here we are. Here's our pot. I've got my hori knife. I'm going to go through. I'm going to loosen all the soil up around the edges, and then I'm going to try and cut this stuff out, cut this yarrow out as best I can to remove chunks of it, and then I'm going to dig out and take the coneflower out too. We're going to set it all over here outside of the pot, kind of spread it out over on this already filled pot with some soil, and then we'll go from there. So first off, I'm just going to go in here. Start getting in here with my hori knife. Or looking for a hori knife, we've got a link down below. This is a Corona. It's really good. It's got a serrated edge so I can cut, and we're going to need that today.
That's going to come in handy.
Yep. So I'm just going to make some cuts here.
We definitely want to save the yarrow. It's a very healthy, beautiful, well, multiple plants now.
Yes. So here we go. First chunk of the yarrow. There we go. That could be its own pot right there.
Wow.
See, here's probably I think this is the oldest part of the plant right here, because these are the largest, and they're really they're a little woody. And then you've got the newer pieces over here that have spread out from the crown of this. Yep, looking good.
All right.
There's one. So we got a smaller one here. I'm just taking out chunks. There you got a wedge. Neat. Okay. Don't mind me. I'm just having fun.
You got to make your own fun.
That's right.
I'm so thankful this coneflower has been so healthy since we planted it, having not refreshed the soil.
Oh yeah, well, and the yarrow too. Look at all this. I mean, this is fresh new growth. It's looking really healthy. I mean, this is going to come through and flower. They're going to have so many flowers off this year.
By the way, these yarrow are white, have white flowers.
Yes. And I'll tell you right now, you can kind of see, I'm being kind of rough with the yarrow, and it's okay. Yarrow's really tough. It is a tough plant. So it's okay to be a little rough with it. And you might be asking, is this the right time to be doing this time of year? And yes, this can be done this time of year. It's okay. The plants are waking up. They're coming out of dormancy. And so it's good to kind of get them right now when they're starting to wake up, because you won't impact their flowering right now because they're in the vegetative state of growth. And so if you would to wait and you did this later on when they're actually starting to flower, that will impact further flowering later on in the summer and into the fall. Let's say you did this at the beginning of summer, the plants will be more awake, and yeah, it's just going to impact those flowers. You won't get as many flowers if you transplant them and treat them like this later on. So right now is a good time to do this.
Goodness.
Get that up out of there. Whoa,
Oh,
coneflower came up.
be careful with the coneflower.
Careful with that coneflower, Sean. All right, there we go.
A lot of ripping noises going on.
Yeah, we're getting that coneflower off. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Anybody want some yarrow?
Yeah, right.
We'll mail it to you.
So here's our coneflower. It's looking good. It's nice and green. So we want to get all of this yarrow out of here because it's kind of just interwoven. So I'm just going to start teasing some of this off out of here. See how interlaced and how much these spread through here? I mean, yeah. So we want to get all this out because we don't want, the main reason we're doing this is because we don't want this coneflower to keep competing with the yarrow for all the water and nutrients and that in the air and everything in the soil. They don't need to compete. We want this coneflower to be really, really healthy. And to do that, we got to lower the competition level in this container. We've got all the yarrow out of the container. Here is our coneflower.
Look at this.
You know, overall, it's looking really good. Oh,
maple tree.
Like a fir tree. Fir, spruce, yeah. So you can see right now, it's waking up. This coneflower is waking up. It's unfurling all these leaves from its crown. We got a lot of growth here. So this is really good to see. You know, last year it didn't do that great, and we're pretty sure it was because it was getting so congested in here. It was so dense with all this other growth. So here's the coneflower. You know, it's looking really healthy. We can see all this new leaf material is coming up. It's unfurling. You can see here's a brand new one right there. And it hasn't unfurled yet. It hasn't opened up. That leaf hasn't, but these others are starting to do that. Everything's nice and green. It's got that dark green color to it. We've got a lot of new growth out here on the perimeter.
That's awesome.
Of the crown. So, you know, for plant care overall, for general plant care and this coneflower care, going through all of your containers and checking out, seeing how dense any of your containers are with growth and plants growing in and amongst each other like this yarrow was. You need to go through and do that because you don't want your plants to be overcrowded. You don't want that competition level to get too high because then all your plants are going to suffer. So now we're going to position this coneflower in here, and it's going to be primed to do really well the rest of the summer.
I can't wait. And we're not going to add any more plants to this.
Nope. What we need to do now is just replant it. We got to redo the soil in here because this soil is a little older. Before we put our coneflower back in and plant this coneflower back in this pot, we want to add a little bit of fertilizer. And what we got here, kind of a heavy bag. So this is from Espoma. This is garden food. It's a 10-10-10, triple 10. And what we're going to do is we're just going to mix in just a teaspoon into the planting hole to mix back in with the backfill soil, which is just more soil that I'll add once I place our old plant back in here. So that's it. So with that, let's get our plant repositioned. And so you can see we've got this whole crown here. I'm just going to set this in here real quick and see where we're at. Okay, so we want to come up. So I need to add some more soil. There we go. So, okay. Oh, that's better. That's a lot better.
Okay, now what are you looking for the correct level?
So for the correct level, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to match up where I think eyeballing it, where I want the crown of the plant, where the stem and the roots meet, that crown level, where I want that in relation to where it is in the pot. And I want it just about here, or actually I want it just about here on this inside rim, or just even a little bit below that. Because what we also want to do is create a reservoir for water to be watered in here, to be placed in here and to sit and then percolate through and go through and water those roots and get into the lower profile of the soil. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm just going to get these roots down in there best I can. And they're going to seek out all of this new soil to grow into. And realize too, when you do this, it's okay to tamp down the soil, because this soil is going to settle over time. And that's what actually happened in this pot with our coneflower. It was down, it must have been down, you know, an extra probably 2 or 3 inches from where we originally set it. Because when we planted this in here, it was at this level, and all the soil and everything just literally sunk down. So here we go. So it's just a little bit, a little teaspoon. And I think that might be maybe a little bit more than a teaspoon, but not bad. So what we're going to do is we're just going to mix that in there. The key with doing this, you want to watch out for, you don't want these pellets, this fertilizer, up against pretty much the roots of the plant or up against the leaf material, because once it activates with water, and this is a time release, so every time the water hits it, it'll release a little bit of fertilizer. If that fertilizer is up against the leaf or right up next to a root, it can burn and damage the leaf tissue or the root tissue. And we don't want that.
No, we do not want that.
So when you're putting this type of fertilizer down, make sure to not have it up against the plant material, the plant's tissue there. And if it is, just reposition the plant, move the plant, or do what you got to do to make sure that it isn't up against that plant tissue. So I think we're looking pretty darn really good here.
Now we have one more step after this. This looks awesome. Well, maybe 2 more steps. Do we need to water it? How moist is that soil?
The soil is moist. So okay. I think right now we're okay. Usually best practice is right after you plant a plant, water it. But this soil is very moist. We've had a lot of rain here in the last couple of days, actually last couple of weeks. We're going to continue to. It's what happens out here in the Pacific Northwest. So we'll replace this pot, this container, over where it was over here, and it's going to get plenty of water just like all our other plants.
So our last step is to protect it, because with this nice soft new tissue, there are a lot of little critters that like to chew on this, and especially slugs, right?
And snails.
Oh, yeah, I guess we have snails.
Yep, we got snails.
So we're going to use our favorite Sluggo. You've heard us talk about that for many, many videos.
So a link will be down below. You want to check this out, probably on Amazon or anywhere, any hardware stores, garden centers.
This stuff's the best, you guys.
Yeah, this is great stuff. You just basically sprinkle it around, and it keeps all the slugs and snails away. And it's good for earwigs, too.
Oh, earwigs, too. You're right.
Yep.
All right, so, that looks great.
Yeah, not too bad. Yep. So now we need to just plant all of our yarrow.
This is like a pile of yarrow.
So
where's the bottom?
Yep, we'll get that done. You guys probably don't want to see us do that, so no big deal.
All right, so I'm gonna watch as Sean puts it back.
This is a really big.
This is a really big pot.
Heavy.
We just kind of had it.
Yep. So I think we had it right there.
Our island here.
Yep, right here. Looking good. It's already getting the full sun. Yep.
Surrounded by all of our tulips and daffodils and hyacinth. Yep. So yay, we'll give you guys an update, but for now we're happy that project is checked off the list.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, that's a wrap for today. We're really thankful that we got that project knocked out. It needed to be done.
Yeah, we've been thinking about that and worrying about that coneflower for a little bit now. So
we worry about our plants.
We don't have to worry about it anymore. Hey, we hope that was really helpful. And if you have any comments or questions for us, leave them down below for us. We love hearing from you guys.
And stay tuned for our next video, you guys. We're going to be pruning some hydrangeas in spring, and it's kind of a controversial topic.
Yep, it is.